For the most part, nothing angers me more than black women who don't understand the topics. They don't understand the manosphere, and this is it's so obvious to where I saw this today, and I was like, I know there's gonna be 3 points that these females are gonna hit. I can guarantee you, it's a fresh. Granted, I already saw bits and pieces of this already. It's a fresh and fit response. It's they're gonna pull the whole "we are your women and we deserve respect," and the whole and then they'll throw away that argument of we're all black people to y'all niggas are just losers who live with your mama. I'm gonna just kind of give it to they look young, like they look like they couldn't be any older than 24. So, but if you're in college, assumably they look like they're in a college dorm. Do research. Do research on what you're. If you're gonna do something to talk about the manosphere, do fucking research. For starters, a lot of people wouldn't even say that Fresh and Fit is part of the manosphere. I don't even know a lot of guys who even watch Fresh and Fit because it's too aggravating to watch. Like I can't watch that shit. I'm not gonna watch two dudes invite 10 women who are just Instagram models and have generic topics about submissiveness, body count, and then these niggas are gonna be like in the back, I'll give you $5,000 to hit it from the back. We don't take these dudes seriously. They're entertaining. They surprisingly got our point across, but they're not manosphere.
Yeah, I was looking at it now too, Chelsea. I just wanted to raise because you said Manosphere, and I hadn't heard of that before, but she
They talk
explains
about
that
that
it's
on
a.
Clubhouse.
I mean, I've realized that there's like a lot of these conversations kind of happening online, but the Manosphere is, per Darkest Hue, a collection of men-led blogs, websites, podcasts, and forums that promote sexist beliefs. They encompass men's rights activists, incels, which are involuntary celibates.
False. It's a myth. Most of the dudes who are MGTOW are not virgins. These are basically, for the most part, middle-aged black men who have been fucked over by the court system, i.e., Mr. Palmer. He wouldn't count himself as a black manosphere guy, but he does have an audience that are black manosphere. Dr. Tiesan Johnson, who has positive is supportive of the black manosphere, and he gives. And I'm not gonna talk to these chicks. I'm not gonna tell them, "Oh, look up BGS or look at Dr. T. San Johnson." I'm not gonna waste time with these females. They know what they were doing. They did a half baked research. They just typed in Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit, Donovan Sharp, and they just was like, oh my god, these guys are so terrible, and then that was it. There was no research. There was no conversations. You females didn't reach out to me or anybody else to my knowledge. So you guys gonna have to come better. But for the most part, the demographics of the manosphere is usually divorced, middle-aged black men who are trying to enforce a black patriarchy or a black-led community. That's the goal. A black male-led community. We're not talking shit just to be talking about, oh, well, I want to have sex with any girl I want just because. That's juvenile. That's not even a talking point. It's juvenile. The black manosphere is about pro-black men, a pro-black man movement trying to regain control of the black community to where black boys of tomorrow can lead, protect, and create a legacy and a generation to follow afterwards. It's not about some dating coach theoretics of how to sleep with a woman you just met in 2 days. You know, we're not pickup artists. We don't even fuck with pickup artists. We're not those guys.
And more groups that promote extremist and dangerously outdated beliefs about women. It's an extremely racialized version of the general manosphere where Black women are the primary targets of their misogyny. And yeah, she talks about how this whole idea of preference, which I feel people keep, that conversation comes up all the time.
Okay, this is, and you females get caught up with this preference bullshit because Paris Milan does the same bullshit. Well, with the preference. Majority of black men will deal with black women, regardless of their shade, their skin tone, height, skinny, fat, whatever. The reason why black men are saying "fuck you, bye" is because we're not for the younger. Okay, so for the younger demographics, they are what you would say non-select, and this is a term from Ron Wills, but it's more commonly I've originally heard of non-select by Obsidian Radio, who uses the term to describe men who are not demographically attractive, meaning that you can have a non-select guy in a certain demographic, and he can probably only pull 1 out of 100 women. But if you take that non-select guy and you put him in a different demographic, his chances are probably came from 1 out of 100 to it's 1 out of 4. So it's about demographics. Non-select guys are realizing that their demographics is not aiding them. The non-select black men are not in the conversations of pro-black love. There's in any of these female conversations about love and relationships, from mainstream radio to the little podcasts females do. There is no mention of non-select black men. There's no conversations about black nerds and sex. And black male nerds in particular. That's why my bad. I kind of had a brain fart, but the preference is just saying, hey, you know, if black women are literally telling me that, hey, I'm not attractive, I'm not their type. Even if it's just, you know, in a nice way to where it's not really meant to hurt my feelings or whatever, if they're telling me that I'm not their type because of height, because of occupation, I'm not going to really say money because it can go either way. I don't believe that black women really have a money preference. They just like to be spoiled. Because how does a woman, a race of women who were born in abject poverty, is going to tell me they know the difference between a man who's making uh 40K versus a guy that's making six figs? And their best example of the six fig guy is an athlete or a rapper. I don't take those conversations seriously. But anyways, again, if I'm not meeting their sexual attraction checklist when it comes to height, sometimes weight, they don't like you being too skinny, not toned up. Occupation, they can't fuck with you if you got a 9 to 5 and all that shit. And sometimes black women are even as bold to reject you, and I've been through it, to reject you because you went to college, because you got a higher education, and that's that white man shit, you know what you gonna do with that bullshit knowledge, they, if I'm not meeting that demographics, and there is white women, Latinas, Asian women who will say that a black man of my stature is their type, I'm gonna go that way. You black women have not created a counter argument, a counter dating culture to rescue non-select black men. You guys don't do that. And then you're mad when you have a pool of non-select black men who are just saying, fuck it, I'm gonna go somewhere else. And then you're mad that they went somewhere else. But when they are solely attracted to you, you don't have anything for them. So it's more than just the idea of preference based off of fantasy. If you guys aren't competing, you guys are not interested, I'm not gonna fight for you. I'm not. Black women literally are so selfish and have their head in the clouds to where they really think non-select black men are just gonna sit there with a thumb in their ass and just be like, oh well, hopefully one day she'll notice me. Yeah, one day. No, this isn't a '90s sitcom. I'm not gonna wait 12 seasons just to get one date with you. No. No, this ain't a '90s sitcom for sure.
At this point, it's like nobody asked you.
Preference.
Nobody asked you.
Yeah, and I feel like the conversation of preference, I don't know, I go back and forth on this because women do it all the time. Like, they talk about, I'm not gonna date a short guy under 6 foot. They talk about a man that makes the magic number figures.
I'm not worried about figures because we could easily go down to Ray Ray and Pookie. These guys are not, all these niggas showing out in the club are not rappers, celebrities, businessmen, or whatever. So I can kind of care less about the six figs. I can go to any raggedy black club in Atlanta, Houston, Charlotte, and the niggas spending money ain't 6 fig dudes. So please stop it. Because I
Isn't that much?
Really not.
All the time. So preference, I actually don't care about personally. If you want to talk about your preference, but
of course she does. She's light skinned, so she knows that dudes will be in her inbox. The other two chicks most likely, they're struggling. The girl in the right look like she can't even decide whether she likes white men or black men. So so yeah.
What bothers me is then when you talk down about the people you don't date. Like, if you want to talk about how much you love Latino women and you love their cooking and all that stuff. Let the conversation stop there. Why then?
Why does it have to stop there? Well, if you're telling me, I don't care about your preferences. If you're telling me, if this light skinned girl's gonna tell me that she likes 6'2" dudes with a long dick, buff, I'm not gonna care. It's like, I respect it. You know, you like those type of dudes, knock yourself out. I'm happy, whatever. And then you have the receipts for it, to where you're able to date your preference and they choose you. Fine, I'm happy for you. But here's your double standard. Your double standard is that you want dudes to just fantasize over their preference and not get results, and that's bullshit. No, that's not how it works. We're not gonna fantasize about something and not get results. So I don't know why you would expect men who were outcasted, and then they're gonna sit quiet and be like, oh, you know, I'm gonna go over here, and I'm just gonna sit quiet and not brag about what I got. No, I'm gonna brag, because I'm gonna show you what the fuck you was missing.
You need to shit on Black women. Like, that's the part that to me goes left.
The other thing with preference, though, is that when your preference is out, like, I get height and maybe builds, things of that nature. Build can even get a little funky, but like when it comes down to like colorism, texturism, featureism, people don't realize that so much of that.
Fuck the featureism. Y'all are killing me with computers. Y'all killing me with this featureism, texturism that y'all got from Sergeant Willie P to Chrissy and all that dumb shit. Like, I ain't trying to hear all that shit. You put an American Negro, regardless of his or her skin tone, and stand it up to the indigenous Nigerian or sub-Saharan African, you will see a difference. Regardless of skin tone, you will see or assume a difference. So I'm not trying to hear all that bullshit. Okay. There's light skinned people, and I'm just worrying about FBA politics. There's light skinned women with C4 hair, curly hair, and all that shit. Light skinned women with big noses, thin noses, dark skinned women with thin noses and soft hair. I'm not trying to hear it, okay? I'm genuinely not trying to hear the bullshit. Because what y'all tend to do is that you guys worry about like these little troll ass dudes who will just say something stupid, particularly a rapper, and they'll just say something stupid like, "Oh, I don't fuck with dark meat. I don't fuck with them dark meat girls." And you try to bring those conversations or those comments to Black Manosphere, and we're like, we don't say that shit. We never said that shit. And truthfully, for the most part, a lot of guys in the Black Manosphere love dark-skinned women or prefer dark-skinned women.
Rooted in like your own internalized racism that you probably need to unpack and unlearn why you think that is ugly or not preferential. So it is still problematic, but like we not.
Okay, how is it problematic? If a guy is saying that he likes looser hair women, so the fuck what? If you're not attracted to him, you don't give a fuck about where he goes, why does it matter? Because a lot of these chicks just want some worship. They just want some type of ancestral worship to where dudes worship them, inbox them to death, and these women will just like say, "Okay, you're disposable. You can go somewhere blocked." Hey, see, that's really what a lot of these females really just want. They just want these ugly the guys that they find undesirable to just be these little minions, these little minions who hold their purse and worship their grace and kiss the floor that they walk on.
having those conversations just yet, I don't think. Like, I talked to my nephew who's like 16, and he's like, yeah, I talked to a lot of like the light skinned girls at school and the Spanish girls at school. And I'm like, why? And he's like, oh, well, they're just like pretty to me. And I'm like, why? He's like, well, those are the girls that you see blah, blah, blah with, or like in these, in media. And I'm like, why do you think that is? Like just continue to, because it's just like, damn, still.
Okay, fine. Let's roll with it. So you have to really understand that a lot of the school systems right now, the Gen Z kids, they have it lucky. They have it hell of a good. Because for the most part, like they are, despite the whole Brown versus Board of Education, this generation is really the most integrated, diverse school board system. So a lot of these kids are freely versus the millennials who we literally had to trick the school system and trick the zoning system to go to good schools. These kids can just go. So again, they're able to go to these schools and see the diversity and see, okay, the Asian girl, the Latina girl, the Indian girl, the foreign white girl, the Japanese girl. They have more access to actually seeing and get to knowing those girls before even going to college. I didn't get those opportunities when I was in grade school. I can't even remember the Asian girl I even went to school with. Especially in the predominant schools that I went to. I don't even think we even had one. So the thing is, okay, this Generation Z, they're in integrated schools. So again, yeah, they're more versus us, to where we were just forced to date what we have. Because we were in segregated schools, segregated zoning blocks, and neighborhoods, to where, truth be told, a lot of people didn't have white friends. Unless it was the country white boy that, wasn't talented to go to the magnet school or the art school, and he just fell through the cracks. That's the difference between our generation and Gen Z. So, and the other thing is that with the media, a lot of these black boys are not seeing, feminine black women. I would even just kind of say that these guys can probably like neglect light-skinned women to a degree. But again, like with this girl, she can just easily say she mixed, or just say that she's Dominican, and she can hide behind something else, even if she just sees herself as just a light skinned girl. Where these boys are seeing black women who aren't feminine, they're mean, argumentative, and again, most of them are dark skinned, and you're seeing a rebellion amongst dark skinned women, amongst black women in general, that they don't want to be pretty, that they don't want to be feminine. We've literally went through so many decades of trying to get black women to be natural in their hair, and they're still fighting us, and then giving a lame ass claim that, oh well, the reason why we wear weave is because black men love long hair. Whatever, man. Whatever, man.
It's still doing this shit.
Yeah. But I would argue that all of our preferences are rooted in something. Like, height is rooted in something. That's like a
100%.
masculinity. Like
I don't think height is rooted in your height preference is rooted in racism. Like,
yes and no, but there's an expectation. You've adopted the Negro workhorse Willie Lynch mentality that a black man's value is within his height, his dick size, and somewhat of his wallet. Even though I don't really believe in it, but his height and his dick size, his looks, the more that he looks aggressive and muscular. Because when these females have dated their white boys or their Asian boys, those niggas ain't 6'2". They don't play basketball. They don't rap. They don't do nigga shit. But they have a preference for niggas to follow, just for niggas. But when it's other races of dudes, they ain't following it. So yeah, it is rooted in something. I'll give these girls credit. At least they're a lot smarter than what they look, but they still don't know the manosphere. They're just still trying to understand men, but again, they don't understand the manosphere. But let's go.
It's rooted in problematic masculinity.
Yeah. Nah. Don't blame us. Because this is what this light skinned girl is doing. She's trying to blame us to make it. The thing is, we don't pick or choose how tall we're gonna be. We don't pick and choose this shit. The other girl above you is talking about height and where that preference came from. You're trying to make it seem like it's something rooted in toxic masculinity. No, it's based off of goofy female preferences to get this guy that is just is put into the media just as much as the light-skinned girls, because you're seeing these tall guys get money, women, respect, and you want to be in that circle. So don't put it on toxic masculinity. That's bullshit.
So everything's rooted in something. Whatever. So we all have our fucked up shit in our heads. But like to shit on a black woman.
Oh, why you drop the topic so quick?
It's unnecessary. Like, why are you shitting on them? Like, to call them LaQuisha and Night Riders? Like, what? I don't know. You want to date who you want to date.
To be that's inflammatory.
Your business. Right.
Like, and at black women's expense, like over and over and over and over again, because there's people that are gonna laugh and then they're gonna piss us off. And at this point, that's why it's good. Don't name those people. I'm thinking about it, and it's making me fucking annoyed because I've seen that show in the past, and it's real crazy to me because it's just these two dudes, and they invite mad women on.
Just say Fresh and Fit. I hate when black women act so uppity and sedity, like they can't name the fuck who they talking about. Just say the fucking name. The dude is not gonna find you and bully you. All right, you already antagonizes the manosphere just a little bit. Ain't nobody gonna hurt you, baby.
Their platform all the time, and like without their show, without all those women coming on there, they wouldn't even have a fucking show. So have some respect.
So what? There's plenty of real black manosphere contact where there's no women, when there's no women on the show or in the panel. So again, explore the real manosphere and not just some shock jocks that just are just designed to piss people off.
Yeah, and it's just like sad to see that like black men are doing this, right? Like it's black men leading these.
So the fuck what? Okay, they're non-select. It's not like you want them, right? It ain't like you want these guys. So the fuck what? Again, like I said before, black women literally expect the guys that they're not attracted to just sit around with a thumb up their ass and then try to just sit there and be lonely and not date anybody. That's how selfish they are. Like, as if any guy is gonna put up with that type of misery. I'm gonna skip because I ain't trying to hear all that shit about Fresh and Fit.
That's where it is.
Huh?
A term that he coins for black women, but I don't know what the word is because she started out. So, he also explicitly said that the darker the skin, the uglier they are, referring to black women, and women who wear weaves are hair-hatted hooligans. It's just wild that
I think this is Tommy that they're talking about.
things like the black community needs a cleansing and an intra-racial civil war to eliminate the, I don't know what this word is.
Again, it's shock jocks. You okay? I'm really kind of getting fed up because I'm trying to find the part that I found where they try to call Manosphere dudes incels.
Like, what the fuck is this? What is this about?
Or lighter skinned girls, and I was like looking at them a little sideways, like them thinking that aligning themselves with those women might be beneficial to them, or kind of like I was really tripping back then. Like I don't know what I was thinking. Like we've had open conversations about that, and they're both actively dating black women. So it's interesting to see that. But I
think
things like the black community needs a cleanse
racism that you probably need to unpack and unlearn why you think that is ugly or not preferential. So it is still like colorism, texturism, featurism.
Version of the general manosphere where black women are the primary targets of their misogyny. And
that's okay. But I also am like, all right, you want to like say it with your chest, you want to say these things out loud, like be ready for the backlash and the conversations because you're out here looking stupid. But what's scary is there's a lot of people that like support that rhetoric and think that that's okay. And
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't got a lot of patience for this shit. I'm gonna just run off for 2 minutes on here and then we'll be done.
At a fat ass, somebody's gonna trick on you.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying and I agree, but like I also am like very realistic, and while it sucks, isn't that
okay? So I can't find it, but somewhere on the show they talked about how black men in the manosphere are mommy's boys who live in their mom's basement, which is broke. They were just trying to say that they're broke niggas who live in their mama's basements, all that shit, which has been debunked. If you really studied your shit, you would have known that a lot of niggas in the manosphere were investing in Bitcoin and making thousands. So, yeah, we're not the losers you think that we are.
it is though? Like think about every show we've ever watched. Like the woman is being chosen. Mm-hmm. Right, and it's like devastating when she doesn't get chosen and she's 50 and has not out of her prime, and I understand all of these things are problematic. That's why to me the manosphere is so complicated, and like, you know, I love that Darkest Hue did this post because, and like more people are talking about it because, as I said before, they're mixing truth in with bullshit. Mm-hmm. And so like that's where it becomes hairy and gray and confusing, and the bullshit gets swallowed as truth. And because it is true, like unfortunately that's the way it is, right? Men control this is something that they also say in the manosphere that I kind of believe to be true. Like women control access to sex and men control access to marriage or a relationship. I mean, it sucks, but unless you're the type of woman that's going to propose to a guy,
and they're not going to do that,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
At least not proudly. They're not going to do it proudly.
Yeah.
See, they're stumped. They're fucking stumped because they know that those two women didn't research. At least this girl did it. The thing is with the light-skinned girl, she just doesn't understand it fully, but she's slowly getting it. These two chicks, they just want to argue and try to make the manosphere as this incel group, which they half-assedly studied, and now they're getting their asses whooped by their own panelist. That's why it was, man.
Don't have that many options.
And then you add being black, but then it's just like, then they just sprinkle a bunch of bullshit on like maybe a real conversation that we could have as a community, and then just turn it into shit.
Yeah,
right.
That's
it goes from like work on yourself to be the best woman you can be and don't wear weaves. It's like, what? Whoa, cop, chill. What the fuck?
Yeah, I was actually in a clubhouse room the
And
other day.
it's funny because we're not really just telling you not to wear weaves just for your health, but we're also trying to counter the $1 billion Asian industry that y'all keep feeding. You know, but y'all don't believe in black economics either. So, yeah, we're not just doing this for your health. You know, because we have gotten onto you guys about constantly supporting Asian businesses that literally been whipping y'all's ass. There is no business or type of business that black men support to where we're getting our asses whooped and still giving them our dollars. We don't go to white barbers. We don't. You disrespect us, we ain't showing up. We ain't coming back. We black men are just sitting there like, wow, I don't know what else there needs to be done. Where black men have literally destroyed Asian businesses that assaulted black women, and y'all bitches line up in droves to support the business enough to repair itself and make more profit with that. Y'all are a trip. We're literally giving y'all a litmus test, and y'all fucking fail it. And you're telling us black men that we're the ones that are not race loyal.